reach the future.
Okay, double lah.
Double lah.
Okay, here we go. Same, 4 bars.
The future is the omniscient savior.
Alright. That's perfect.
Okay, that's alright.
Okay, yeah? Done, huh?
You got anything else? Your idea?
I think this is what I have in mind. Do you want me to do anything else? All good, huh?
Can.
Alright, great.
Have a listen outside.
Yep. I'm Kathir from Rudra. That's all lah. That's all lah. You say tell me about yourself, I tell already lah.
What do you think about this song?
This particular song is very special because Amyr very specifically told me the background that he wanted me to have when writing the lyrics and trying to envision. So the whole idea is about between a meeting point between the past and the future. So it was very interesting because between the past and the future there is a present, right? So I decided to use the present as an anchor for the past and the future in the way that I wrote the lyrics. I think keeping with the tradition of metal, the future is usually bleak, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. And that's how we look at the future or look at reality, very, very pessimistic way. But this particular song that Amyr wrote did not have a very pessimistic tone. It had, along with it being a solid metal tune, but I think there's a little bit of optimism. It also allowed me to write the lyrics in that way, that as if there is a possibility of change. So I think it's a very special song. I enjoyed writing it. I wrote it within 15 minutes actually. Because when you have a very clear goal, a very good background, and it's very clearly articulated, it's easier to write the lyrics.
How long did it take for you to get into the feel that song?
I just need to listen once. I look for hooks. A hook is basically a part of the song that really grips you. So I think in this song, the hook for me was the chorus line.
So, how you know Amyr?
I got to know Amyr from actually I met a friend. He's a very good friend of mine. So after that, I immediately added onto my Spotify, and then I listened to it and I was like blown away. I said, hey, thanks for introducing me. And then a few months later, Amyr messaged me. I say, wow, solid, man. Good to participate in his next albums. My biggest influence actually is my father. My father was a musician, but he sang Tamil songs, Hindi songs. In the late 70s, I started to listen to English music. During that time, I was introduced to Santana. I was introduced to Fleetwood Mac. This is my foundation, English music. Eventually, I became a huge fan of Michael Jackson. Very important, Beat It had Van Halen. Perhaps my first exposure to rock. I discovered a little later Van Halen's Jump. I'm a big fan of Motley Crue till today. I also love Def Leppard. And then I got to listen to Slayer. It was Slayer that really influenced me. Halloween. But Slayer is the first band that really impressed me, that really changed the way I look at life. Then came Sepultura, Creator, Obituary. These were the bands that I grew up with. Then I discovered local bands. Global Chaos, then Stomping Ground, Silent Sorrow. But that one band that really maybe I became friends with is Fractured Skull. I don't know whether you know Fractured Skull. That is actually Borhan's first band. And before he formed Manifest, Urban Karma, before that was Fractured Skull. I had a demo when I was in, somebody passed me. I know he was a campus mate. He passed me this demo. It's called a dehumanization process. I was like, wow, local band. And I listened to it. I was like, wow. So that was a very, what I call a turning point for people like me, because at that time, I have not started a band. But these guys were doing it before Rudra was even formed. It's these bands that invented Global Chaos, Stomping Ground, Silent Sorrow, Fractured Skull. It's inspiration. You see, before you do something on your own, there must be someone before you have done it, right? And then when you see them doing it, then you feel that you can do it. So these were the bands that actually, I would say as the because Rudra was formed in 1992. So pre-92, these were the bands, I would say, from the time I was pre-teenager, and having this whole chain of influences before I started playing.
How you discovered your talent as a screamer?
I wasn't the vocalist. I was supposed to be the bassist. So we had to fire the vocalist, and then we didn't know what to do. And we felt that getting another person into the band would be very, very tricky. So they decided that, hey, Kathir, why don't you try singing or rather growling lah? So I said, yeah, why not? So I started to try, and I realized that, hey, I think it was okay. Till now I continue to be the bass vocalist lah.
What would you say to yourself if you ever get back to a time machine to say to yourself when you're in 19 years old or 20 years or so?
If I were to go back in time when I was 20, I would tell myself, don't change anything. In a way that I don't regret any of the things in my life. I don't have any regrets because I think that there are choices that were in my control. There were choices that perhaps influenced by so many other factors, but there's nothing to regret because where I'm at right now, it's a very good place to be. I don't want it to be, maybe becoming better is a natural thing, but I'm very contented as to where I am at right now. Yeah, I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't have the pressure, I don't have the burden of having to accomplish something other than what I'm accomplishing and what I want to accomplish. So I'm pretty satisfied and very contented. Yeah, so we are currently recording our next album and we are about to complete it actually. So we can probably hopefully it will get released by the end of the year or early next year. Look out for it.